Hey guys, it's NezZy, back again with another Destiny6 video. So, I know that every week I make my NezZy versus Auto in top 10 video. This week I couldn't, well, I was making it earlier, but then somebody kept calling me again and again and again, and I canceled like twice, but then they just did not get the message. So my 14-minute-ish video ended up being 8 separate videos, each being like a minute and a few seconds long, and when I put it all together, it just did not look right. There were too many cuts in the video. So I'm going to be making this video, which is building your arena team, and we're going to be looking at 3 different teams. One's a nuking team, one's going to be a PvP team, and one is, a nuking team, a crowd control team, and then a sustain team. So let me just first explain my teams. Now these are the teams that I would use in Arena simply because I have these units, okay? I'm going to tell you guys replacements for some of these units if you guys have them or if you guys get lucky and RNG's in your favor. So this is my sustain team right here. As you guys can see, I have Elky for the heals, as well as Elky and Scissor Yanuk are in the striker position to give me a combined damage reduction of 45% because of their leader skills. I have Adonis for his shield, and he does have a knockback which can come in handy. I have Rock John for my damage dealer, as well as his second ability to deal damage multiple times. He's on crit, so multi-hit crit kind of goes together, and he is on concentration, and he does have a big nuke on his first ability. So let me just show you the orbs on this team. So I'll just talk about all the teams first, and then we will talk about and then I'll show you guys actual gameplay. Okay, and where is my Adonis? So basically what do you call it? I'm sorry guys, I'm having a little bit of trouble concentrating because there are some people in the room next to me and they're being a little loud. Hopefully it doesn't interfere with the video too much. But then again, it's kind of like a douche move for me to make, to just go up to them and just be like, hey, shut up, because I'm making a video for YouTube, right? So as long as they keep it down, we should be fine. A few outbursts every now and then shouldn't be too much of a problem. I don't think I showed you guys this on my Adonis. And then Yanuk, well, he's on full bravery because this team isn't a crit team, okay? I don't have anybody to buff crit rate. I just need him to deal as much damage as possible. He has 3 hits, and even with concentration, I have a 30% chance to crit, like if I give him my best orbs and crest, which would result in him having about an average of 1 hit per his strike, which doesn't really do a lot of damage. 3 of these hits should be completely fine. 3 of these hits on bravery does a lot more damage. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that's my sustain team. It's the team that I run right now. It's the team that got me to top 10 this week. Next up, we're going to have a damage comp, which is basically going to be Gunter with, where's my Tyler? I 6-starred him, yep. Tyler, Benito, and then it's completely up to you guys. So right here, what I have is I have Tyler for crit rate lead. I have my Benito, who's my nuker. I have Gunter for my crit damage or my critical rate activation. If you guys don't have him, you guys can go ahead and use Kadiz. I think the Scissor one has crit rate buff as well. And then of course there is Rock Arcana, who now has a crit rate buff. So, you know, whoever you guys have, that's completely fine. So now it's completely up to you guys how I would normally do things. Or because of how things are right now, I would not recommend another person to deal crowd control because you don't have status activation buff. So what you guys can do is bring in somebody like Adonis or somebody like Soho or Yona, basically somebody to make your team a little bit more safer, provide a safety net with either a shield or heals, because you can't really go for the crowd control route. These are my orbs. Let me see now. Alright, so he doesn't have the best crest, or he did have pretty good crest, but then I decrested him simply because I am trying to, simply because I was trying to get my Yanuk with, oh lord. Okay, Okay. She has nothing. I forgot. Okay, because I did so much de-runing or de-orbing the other day. Okay, yep, okay. So basically what I'm saying is that you guys can bring in a healer. However, just for this purpose sake, I'm going to bring in my Adonis for his shields. Or anybody with the cleanse even. Elkie, if you guys were lucky enough to summon her. Or even somebody like, what's it called? Viego. He's a 4-star, but he has pretty good... He has a pretty good kit. He has a cleanse and a immunity shield. So it's up to you guys who you bring. And then finally, let's get on to the crowd control team. Now for the crowd control team, it's going to get a little bit tricky. What you need is someone to deal crowd control. I have Rock Shaolin, so I'm going to use Rock Shaolin. You guys can also use somebody like Paper Cur if you guys are lucky to have him. If not Paper Cur, you guys can use somebody like Rock Luna. Rock Luna is actually, in my opinion, better than the Rock Shaolin, simply because Rock Shaolin's second ability will apply blinding and silence at the same time. So that's basically 8 seconds of both debuffs. With Luna, you guys have her first skill and her second skill. I forget which one does which, but one of them does blinding, one of them does silence. So it's basically like, even if it was 8 seconds each, they would be 8 plus 8. So 8 seconds of silence. When that runs out, put the blinding on, or vice versa, blinding first and then silence, giving you basically a 16-second window of the opponent being able to do nothing, which with the Shaolin is only 8 seconds because she has them both on one skill and they apply simultaneously. Now, of course, you guys need someone to do an activation rate buff. For this, you guys can use the Paper Elkie. She's brand new. She's pretty darn good. You guys can use Paper Helga, who I have. You guys can even use Zhaoqi, the scissor one. However, I think we've established that it's always better to have status activation buff rather than status activation debuff. Sorry about that. It's always better to have status activation buff than status activation debuff. We've discussed it multiple times. And then, just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to bring in Tianjin, okay? Just because. And then, down here, we need status activation. So for your leader, you guys can have anybody here. You guys can have somebody to increase debuff duration. You guys can have somebody to increase cooldowns or whatever. Cooldowns, I think, would go anywhere. It would be really, really nice. But it's hard to have everything in a single team. So let me just try to find a better, I think Ebonia. Yep. So she'll be fine just to increase status activation buff. And then of course I'm going to have Benito. Now yes, he is a nuker. Basically what I'm saying here is that if you guys have somebody like Paper Cur, which I think he's the only unit in the entire game that has 4 stuns, then go ahead, use him and use someone else like the Shaolin or anybody else to do knockback or knockdown to just CC them to death. But if you guys don't have multiple forms of CC built into your kit, you only have one form of crowd control, which is what I have with my Rock Shaolin, what you're going to have to deal with is the fact that if you don't kill them quick enough, the debuffs will run out and then the opponents, even with the AI, as stupid as it can be, can potentially turn things around onto you. Which is why I would recommend you guys have a nuker so that while they are being crowd controlled, you guys can go ahead and just nuke them down within that time, within the duration of debuffs that you have applied onto them. So without further ado, let's go to Arena. Do I have anything else I need to say? No. Okay, let me just show you guys my orbs, right? So she doesn't have she only has them at +9, and of course, if you guys notice, I've only been focusing a lot on my Adonis, my Elkie, and my Yanuk, and the other person I use, my Rock Jun, simply because that these are the units I use in PvP, and PvP is really where you want to focus your best orbs and crests. Now, of course, if I was using these teams for my PvP, I would be doing, what I would be doing is giving them my best orbs and crests. However, I generally use them for PvE situations, which is why they have pseudo good orbs or half good orbs. So let me just go to the arena really quick. I did place top 10. Yep, I placed rank 9, so we got 5,000 because of that, and then... Oh, okay, I did some special arena, I guess. So let me just go over here. Oh, wow, this is a lot. So right now I have 14,550. With that, I almost have 2,000. Feels good. Feels so good. Alright, guys, so I'm going to use about 10 swords right now. I'm going to get up in the rankings, and I'll be right back with you guys to show you guys each of these comps in action. Alright, guys, so welcome back. As you guys can see, I just lost 5 times, not because the opponents were better than me, because I just made this video and I realized that I spoke a bit too much at some points, and I also conveniently left some things out. So hopefully this one goes a bit faster. I'm prepared to take a few more losses for the purposes of this video. So let's go ahead and get right in. First thing that I just want to cover is that you guys can always run a stripper with your team comp. Now the only stripper that I have reliably is my Scissor Shaolin. Any of these comps you can run a stripper with the comp, whether it be Nuker, Sustain, or Crowd Control. So if you guys haven't guessed already, the reason why I'm trying to make this video is basically to tell you not to run a full one-path stripper. Alright, don't go full nuke or full sustain or full crowd control. All 3 of them have their limitations, which is why you need to bring in something a little extra, or to swap out a unit or 2. Meaning you either want a healer or a stripper, because crowd control and nuker comps both fall short when it comes to dealing with comps that have healing or shields. Basically sustain, because the damage you deal gets pretty much nullified by their healing, or if they have a shield, you deal no damage at all. And then if you are crowd control and they have a cleanse, or it gets resisted, then you need to wait for all your cooldowns to get through. So basically the 3 things that you guys can do for all 3 comps, well, is basically to have on Nuker and concentration, on Nuker and crowd control, you guys can basically bring in someone to strip, or someone to heal, or somebody that can give you guys cooldown reduction. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 3 of each. One, we're just gonna go heavy nuker, heavy crowd control, heavy sustain, and then we're gonna bring in a team that I think is like a better whatchamacallit, is like a balanced out team. So first of all, let's go with damage. Full damage, meaning I'm gonna bring in Benito, crit, who else did I have here? Crap, I forgot. I think it was Adonis, but that wouldn't be very crit heavy. So I guess the most crit heavy comp that I could go with is with Julian, okay? So you guys know what's going to happen here. Gunter is going to crit rate buff, then Julian and Benito are just gonna nuke down anything that lies in their path. However, we're probably gonna fail, and this is what I'm trying to tell you guys, that don't go full on one specific path. But of course, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do 2 of each, like full on heavy, extreme one-way comp, and then we're going to bring a balanced comp for the 3rd try on each comp, okay? Okay, so we're going up against John, so I can just pretty much guarantee that we're going to lose because we have no strips, we have no stuns. We're going to try and shock them. Doesn't matter, they have their shield up now, and now my second skill is just going to waste. Their shield's up again. I can't do anything. If I had a nuker, if I had someone to deal crowd control, or to strip the shield, or to give me some shield or health back from healing, that could have gone another way, but there's nothing more that I could have done. Let's try one more time. Carlota again. Okay. Again, Carlota. Is this the same guy? Jesus Christ. Oh my god, we almost had him. Alright, the shield is only 2 seconds long though. Come on, come on, come on. Shock. Come on, Tyler. Please, Tyler, come on. Let's do this. Do you have the crit rate buff? Hello, beautiful crits. Well done. Alright, so we have 1 loss and we have 1 win. However, we can make this team comp better by bringing out or substituting a few things out, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in and bring in a stripper. So, where's my stripper? Replace it like that, and let's see how this goes. Now, of course, one way to make this comp very, very efficient is to swap out my Gunter for sustain. That would be like a very balanced out comp, but let's just see how a stripper does. I only have 1 strip though, and strips are basically 50-50, because strips are basically a debuff, and debuffs are always 50-50 regardless of how much accuracy or precision you guys have. So, try to land the damage. Okay. Nope, they got their shields up. If I had someone to heal, this would have gone a little bit more differently. This can give me back some health, but it's not going to do anything. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Wait, why didn't I strip? I had a stripper. Why didn't I strip? Why did I not strip the shield? Oh my lord. Okay, well, anyway, you guys get my point, right? Let's not waste too much time. Let's go for a crowd control team now. If I were to go full crowd control, I would possibly go her in the lead with Tian Jin. Of course, I have Paper Helga, so I'm going to go Paper Helga. And then, where's my Ebonia? Ebonia down here, and then of course, Benito, because I said that we need something to crit them down, right? Now again, the one way to make this team a bit more safer is to try to get as many precision substats or status activation substats as you can onto your crowd control, which in this case is my Rock Shaolin, and then basically replace status activation buff, who is Paper Helga, with somebody to sustain or to provide shields. So, let's go here. No, okay. They have the shields up. There's nothing that we can do right now. Oh my lord. This is going to come in clutch. Oh, that was so clutch. They had so much HP too. The main reason that comp didn't work is because we didn't have our crowd control straight off the bat. So one change that we could make here, because this comp failed, is to bring someone that can reduce cooldowns. So instead of my Rock Benito, I'm going to bring in my Rock Jun to give me cooldown straight off the bat. And then we could possibly... yeah, let's just try this one out. Of course, everybody has different team comps, and everybody is going to have either a 4-star or a 5-star counterpart to the units that I'm using. Basically, just make do with what you have, but be smart with what you're doing. So, activation buff. We blind... oh my god, they get the shield up. Are you kidding me? Okay, so they got the shield up. They got the shield up again. Actually, you know what? It's pretty much pointless, regardless of what I had bought or brought through, or even just bought through. Unless my RNG or the money that you put in can give you these 3 units in particular, it's pretty hard to beat them. Let's go one more time. Oh my god, I'm taking so many losses today just to make this video. I could have just... I'm starting to regret making this again. Okay, so we get the cooldown reduction. Let's get this down here. Accuracy, blinding. Let's get some damage down here. Oh, Elky cleanse. And this is where you start to wish if you had brought in a whatchamacallit, someone to give you a little bit more sustain. Alright, so one final comp that we can try out over here, again, if you guys have enough status activation, is basically to bring in, someone should deal damage. I think she has enough. I think she has enough status activation on her own. 12% chance, that's, let's hope it works. 12% chance with the Abonia lead and her own leader skill, that should be more than enough. Let's go ahead, and this comp should work because it's going to nuke them down pretty darn quick. The problem we had earlier was that we could land our debuffs, but within the debuff duration that's being applied, we couldn't take them down. Now we possibly can. Carlota, Jun, Adonis, this is going to be a perfect example. Let's just go. Okay, so, oh my god. RNG is not in my favor right now. And they land the stun on us. Jesus. I'm going to make a video strictly on how this comp should be nerfed. Takes no goddamn strategy or anything. There's no strategy, there's no timing involved, it's just spam your skills. Alright, we're gonna do this one more time. Oh, I'm on tilt right now. Wish I could get in contact with the developers. Oh, and this comp doesn't even make sense. This is going to be... Oh, my lord. So we blind them. We do this. Get the attack buff up. So now we... this one isn't even fun because it's too damn easy. Alright, we're going to go one last time, and then we're going to bring in basically a sustain comp, and then we're going to show my variation of the sustain comp. Okay, this should be a fair battle, right? So I am going to go in, try to blind and silence them, get my cooldown reductions in here now. I'm going to do this to get myself some more speed, get some damage. Oh, they have Elky. Oh my god, and they have the... We didn't land the silence, that's the problem there. We did not land the silence. Oh my lord, it's just fail after fail. Okay, so... this comp would have worked a lot better if you had a safety net. But then again, the moment you bring in a safety net, you are either reducing your chances to land the debuffs or to deal damage. So it's really basically up to you how your team is orbed or what units you have, actually. So this right here would be a full-on sustain comp. I could even just go with, where is he? Even just go with Chrono. This right here would be a full-on sustain comp. Basically what you're trying to do is deal some damage onto the opponent, but after the 80 seconds are over, you have more health percentage-wise than they do, so they basically lose and you basically win. So let's just go ahead, shield. We're trying to get our cool... Hold on now. Alright, so let's get our cooldown reduction now. Chrono doesn't work too bad, to be very honest. This Carlos is just so much better. We're just going to heal again. They now get a shield, right? Yep. 3 seconds on their shield, 2 seconds, drop the anchor. Nope. Oh wow, we got stunned. Okay. 20 more seconds remaining. We're trying to get as much damage onto them as possible. We're going to try and heal up now. Try and stun them. Increase cool times. Basically, this is like one of the most troll comps that you guys can use. Just keep healing yourself, keep getting cooldown reductions, and then just wait for the timer to end, and you finish them off. My variation to this, well, I really can't call it my variation. I came up on it on my own, but then a lot of people use it. VitaQQ uses it, as we saw, Orochi uses it. It's basically with Scissor Yanuk in the striker, Adonis and Jun, and then Elki in the core 3 leader spot. So let's go again. This one's actually going to be a little bit harder. My Chrono has like no orbs on him right now. Actually very surprised that this comp is working. So no debuffs. We get the heals in right now. Get the shield in. Cooldown reduction, acceleration. How long this is for? For 10 seconds. Huh. Trying to deal some damage. Have this up. Activate our shield. Wait for the shield to almost end. He's basically running a full-on tank team too. We're gonna go over here with my Soho, get the defense buff up. Get the cooldowns in. Get the damage in, and now, because we have more HP, we now win. It's a very easy way to win, but it takes forever, and in Rush Hour, as you guys might have guessed, it's actually a double-edged sword, because chances of losing are very, very low. However, you don't really win a lot in a specific amount of time, which is why you then start to fall behind with everybody else progressing at a faster rate than you. Last comp, this is the comp that I showcased in my last video. It's the comp that I'm running right now. Basically what happens is I have Elki and my Adonis. Both of them have safety nets with a heal and a shield, and then both of them have some crowd control. So Adonis has his knockback, Elki has her charge, Jun has his big nuke with cooldown reduction, and then my Yanuk has the recovery band that comes in at 6,000 strike points, as well as additional damage taken decrease. Add that up with Elki to give you 45% decrease. So, and my Jun is basically on crit. So this is like kind of like using everything, crowd control, crit, sustain, everything you have together. And if you guys can, I would recommend a team like this because it's just so very effective. What does he have? Maybe this week, once I get to top 10 again, I can show you guys these comps again. But then again, I think the whole point of this video, as many of you have probably guessed, or actually you guys don't even need to guess, I've told you. The purpose of the video is to warn you guys from going one specific route. You're going to want to have a little bit of variety in your team. Alright, let's try to get the cooldowns. Nuke. Try to get the charge in. 3 seconds left on our nuke. We do get the charge in, so this is going to deal quite the damage. Tyler comes in. My god, his Tyler is so poorly orbed. And GG. This team is by far right now my current favorite team. it does lose every now and then, but it has a higher success rate than any team that I have. Of course, it's not like Carlota comps with 100% 100% win rate, but it's still pretty good. So anyway, I think this video has gone long enough. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, go ahead and leave a like. Ask me any questions you guys want. If you guys had trouble with any stages in the game, let me know. I will go ahead and show you how I complete it. Go ahead and subscribe if you guys like my content. And until the next time, guys, Neon out.